Success. Success. Some people, and possibly you, that is success. If you chose to do these things and you achieve them, yes, then you're very successful. But success really is only relevant to the person, him or herself. It's what you want out of life that's important. What others call success may not be your idea of success. You may wish to succeed in business. You may wish to succeed in singing, acting, whatever. Whatever it be, that to you will be success. Success is achieving your heart's desire. I'm going to say one or two things now which, at this point, you will disagree with, or you may disagree with. Believe me, when we've finished, you will no longer disagree with them. The first is that you are capable of anything. Anything. You may think, I'm not capable of becoming Prime Minister. You are capable of anything. There is nothing that somebody else has done that you cannot do yourself. Anything. And all of the answers to your desires are to be found within you. Isn't it strange how we admire others? We look up to others, but we never take the time and trouble to look inside ourselves. All you need to do is to have faith in yourself. Believe in you above all others. Believe in you. You are a miracle. Believe that. You have got tremendous reservoirs of energy, power, and talent. Believe in you. Everything you will ever need, you will find within yourself. I'll tell you a very short, true story. A young man believed that he was gifted in the manner that he could do cartoons. So he thought his cartoons were very good. In order to sell them, he went to every single newspaper and magazine in the state of Kansas. Every single one. And each publisher, without fail, said to him, no. In fact, some editors told him quite bluntly, you have no talent. Don't carry on with this. You're not cut out for it. You do not have the talent to be a cartoonist. That was the expert's opinion. What would you have done? Wrapped up the pencil and gone? Well, this young fellow, he was, I suppose, a bit pig-headed. He was a bit stubborn. He carried on. And he managed to acquire a job, very little money, no more than bed and board really, with the local church. And he drew the posters for their dances and jumble sales. The vicar felt sorry for him and allowed him to use the barn behind the church. The barn was messy. The barn was dirty. It was cold. And above all this, the barn was infested with mice. It's just as well that he had faith and believed in himself, isn't it? Because one of those mice was one day to become world famous. Because the man, that young man, was Walt Disney. Probably the greatest miracle maker in history. Not because he had faith in experts. Not because he believed editors, publishers, or anybody else. He believed in himself. And the very first rule, the most important rule that we are now going to learn is believe in you. Believe in yourself. Imprint this upon your memory. You will hear these words throughout the whole of this tape. Believe in you. believe in yourself. Rule number 1. Number 2, believe in miracles. If you believe in miracles, miracles will happen. It's how you see yourself. See miracles. Dream miracles. People say don't be a daydreamer. Why not? Why not? Provided you are doing something to move towards that dream, then daydreaming is a wonderful motivation. Believe in miracles. Miracles will happen when people make them happen. And you can make yours happen. Never limit yourself. Never, ever, ever put a ceiling on what you believe you can achieve. There is no ceiling. You can achieve anything that you want, provided you yourself don't limit that achievement. Don't say, I can do so much to such a level. Go all the way. Dream a complete miracle and make that your target. Never ever accept others' opinions of your miracles, of your dreams. People will say, come down to earth. Why? Keep up in the clouds, but work on earth to get there. Work on earth to get there. You've often heard the expression, that person is their own worst enemy. You know, you've probably lived most of your life, and you've been your own worst enemy. Every time you fail to attempt anything because you are frightened of failure, you became your own worst enemy. Let's reverse it. Let's give another rule. I want you to become your best friend. Never ever become your own worst enemy. There are so many people in this world quite prepared to be your enemy without you as well joining in. Be your own best friend. Why do we fail anyway? Why do we never achieve these wonderful things? Well, the answers are there, aren't they? Isn't it simple? If only I took that job. If only I'd done that. If only I'd gone to school. If only I'd listened to him. If only I didn't listen to her. If only, if only. It goes on and on and on. It gives us 1,000 excuses, if only. But not one reason. Not one reason. If only is a phrase that as from now must be stricken from your vocabulary. Instead of if only, say next time. Because by using the word if only, we use mistakes as guides. We center towards a mistake as though it's natural. Don't be frightened of making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But mistakes are guideposts on the road to success. And if we use them in experience, and so I made that mistake, but next time we'll then avoid that same mistake. By using the phrase if only, all we are doing is dwelling in the past which has gone. It's water under the bridge. It's no longer with us. We can talk about it forever. One can reflect on the past, but live for today and look for tomorrow. The past is only useful in terms of identifying where we went wrong. So build your dreams, build your miracles. Your miracles will happen and become your own best friend. Never limit yourself. Don't doubt yourself. So many of us doubt who we are. We doubt our own ability. Never, ever, ever entertain any more self-doubt. In future, you will say, next time. Next time. And the other phrase, which must be thrown out, is also one that we're conditioned to saying. It avoids the effort. It avoids the attempt. You know which one I'm talking about. I can't. What a whimperish word that is, can't. Write the word can't down and look at it. It's so negative, it's cold. It looks what it is. A wimpy, washy excuse. Change can't into can. It's a shorter word anyway. And so in future, whenever you hear yourself saying, I can't, rectify it, replace it, and say, I can. If only becomes next time, and I can't becomes I can. There's a very old biblical saying. You probably heard it on old television films. So let it be written. So let it be done. So it is written. And so it is done. Write everything down. Everything. Write everything from this tape down. Not now, but later. Write every idea that you ever have down. Even the most outrageous, silly notions. Even if at first glance they're impossible aims. Write them down. Write everything down. The reason why that seems to work, let it be written, let it be done, is a psychological reason. Any psychiatrist will tell you that if we review something written over a long period of time, we can recall it rapidly from our memory. It's as though our subconscious absorbs it much easier, much more solid than if we just hear something in passing, such as this tape. Much of what you listen to will be forgotten as you listen to the next part. So write everything down. Doesn't matter how stupid, how foolish it appears. Write it down. Keep all of your thoughts on paper, and each and every day, look at those thoughts. Review those thoughts. Later in this program, I shall tell you why you need to do this. But you need to do it anyway, in order to recall all of the rules that I am giving you, or have given you. Write everything down. You remember that I said earlier that everything you will ever need, you will find within yourself. And it's very true. Everything that you will ever need is there in your subconscious mind. All you need to do is find it. The subconscious mind performs almost all of our actions. We like to believe that we take decisions to do certain things, whereas in reality, the decision has been made for us by our emotions and by our feelings, long before we decide it's the right or the wrong thing to do. Now, I say that it's all in your subconscious. The subconscious, it has been proved, has a slow learning process, but once learned, it never forgets. And that is why it's necessary for us now to completely recondition, reprogram our subconscious minds to react differently to the manner in which we used to react. So that, as I said earlier with the words, when people say, are you able to do this? We no longer say I can't. We say I can. And by repeating that phrase enough times, it will become part of our subconscious response. So we will do it automatically. And we will no longer say, if only, we will say next time. Next time, I shall do that much different. And so our subconscious is the key to where we're going. And nobody, but nobody, can add or take away to your subconscious except you. You alone hold the key. If you're prepared to absorb what I'm saying, to put what I'm saying into practice, to repeat it to yourself, to read it to yourself, to reason it with yourself, eventually it will become part of your subconscious thought. And that is why I say, write everything down. Because when you come to realize your dream, you must first of all fix a goal. That goal must be right. Right for you and right for those who are affected by that decision. Something that isn't right will never be right. A wrong performed in the most miraculous manner will never be right. And yet a right performed wrongly will never be right. It must be the right goal. Fix that goal firmly in your mind and perform it in the right way. Not what to perform, really. It's a question of what not to do rather than what to do. The first and the biggest priority is establish that goal firmly in your mind. Ignore what anybody else says. Entertain and harbour no self-doubt. None. People will doubt you. There'll be plenty to doubt you. They'll say you can't do that. That's a silly idea. You need money to start that. You need a record company to sing that. Nobody can do that. Everything you need is in you. And once you've fixed that goal firmly in your mind, let nothing, especially doubt, ever interfere with it. Doubt is the enemy of success. Doubt is merely fear of failure. It's nothing more than that. There was a very old saying that I saw on a church at one time. And it said, "Fear not." Courage answered. There was no one there. Think about that. Think about that very carefully the next time you have any doubt. You are only doubting yourself. Nobody else. And you will then become your own worst enemy. But as we've agreed, you will no longer become your own worst enemy. You will become your own best friend. And the finest way you can serve that friend, which is yourself, is to say yes. Cultivate the yes idea. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I shall. And it will not be long before you say, yes, I did. I did. And so we come to another biblical saying. Unto thyself be true. What does it mean? Unto thyself be true. It means you may lie to everybody around you. You may kid everybody else. But when the day comes when you can lie to yourself, and some do, that is the day when really you have left your spirit altogether. Don't lie to yourself, ever. Lying is a bad thing in any event. Lying is a very difficult path to success. The way of the truth is sometimes very difficult, most difficult, and painful. But it does provide the straightest line there is to success, to achievement. Some people lie so much in every situation that in the end they no longer know where they were going, and in some cases where they came from. They're not capable of achieving anything. They're only capable of lying about everything. unto thyself be true. Make this a golden rule. If ever the time comes when you've committed an act of great folly, or what you consider to be a terrible thing, sit down and talk to your best friend, you. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel silly. There's nothing wrong in looking in a mirror and telling yourself the truth. You might well find it a very refreshing experience. You must know yourself before you can know others around you. And if you're dishonest with yourself, how on earth are you ever to know the greatness that is you? And so, unto yourself be true is much, much more than a few words. Much, much more. It's a way of life. A way of life which as from today, as from now, you will adopt. Unto thyself be true. Write those words down when this program is finished. Write it down on small cards. Keep those cards on your person, in your car, wherever other people are not likely to see them, but you will constantly be able to review them. And ask yourself, are you being truthful with yourself? And always remember, if you're not, you're betraying your own best friend, which is you. Unto thyself be true. When you're fixing your goal, make sure that you don't level it too low. Don't take a target that you think you might just scrape through on. Go much higher. Be ambitious. Remember what we said earlier. Make your goal your dreams. Make your goal a miracle. Aim as high as you wish. Do not aim low. And keep that goal firmly implanted in your mind. Repeat that goal to yourself every day, many times a day. Imagine what it's like when you achieve that goal. Repeatedly say what your goal is to yourself. Write it down. Read it every day. Continually. Ignore all negative thoughts. People, if you tell them what you're trying to do, will give you negative thoughts. Ignore them. A negative thought is a doubt. We've already agreed. No more doubt. Doubt has no place in success. Therefore, a negative thought is merely another name for a doubt. Welcome objections. Welcome problems. Why is it that it's only the successful that seem to welcome a problem? Some people are so terrified of a problem. A problem is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for a mini success to overcome that problem. Every problem has a solution, has a weak spot somewhere. All you need to do is find it. Find the solution. And the strange thing is, when you've solved enough problems, you don't mind them coming. In fact, you rather welcome them. Some people have said to me, if only there was a world without problems. There is. It's called a cemetery. It's sad that many people, probably very gifted, very talented, die without ever knowing what that gift or talent was. And why? Because they wanted a world without problems. What are they frightened of? It's only their own doubt in their ability to solve the problem. So don't reject them. Deal with them. Don't turn your back on them. Don't put them in a cupboard. Deal with them. They are small milestones on the road to success. And for those people who tend to put you down, or your ideas down, feel sorry for them. Feel very sorry for the doubting Thomases. Possibly loan them this tape. Perhaps then they'll no longer be doubting Thomases. But feel sorry for them. Having established your goal firmly in your mind, then you must give it everything. Nothing can be allowed to interfere with the progress towards that goal. Once decided, never, ever, ever waver. You will meet people. In fact, you already know these people. One step further, you may well be or have been one of these people. The people who continually argue. The ones who always say what can't be done, what should be done, what somebody else should be doing, what the government should do, what the police should do, what the army should do, what the world should do. They themselves haven't got the ability to do anything. All they can do is cast doubt on others' opinions, on others' actions. Surely we should respect other people and never worry about failure. True failure, real failure, is never ever attempting. That is the true failure. The man who comes last in a race, he hasn't failed. He took part in the race. The man who tries at a sport but can never quite make the team, he's not failing. He's achieving. And each person's achievement level is different. The real failure is the one who sits in the armchair and hasn't got the guts or the courage or the more or whatever you wish to call it to stand up there and take part. Not taking part is 100% total failure. It's pure self-doubt. So feel sorry for the doubters, but never let them interfere with that which you are doing. You will meet people who are called, well, I call them crazy makers. They're people who ask you things. You may well have been one. Shall I buy this? Shall I do this? Shall I get that? They're not asking for your opinion. They're asking for your judgment. They're asking you to make their decision. On why? Because they're so terrified of making a wrong choice. They want somebody to blame if it's not the right choice. Why are they so frightened? Why are they so filled with self-doubt about their own ability? If there are two choices and we choose wrong, so what? It's an experience. We should welcome it. It's another milestone. It's another guide on the road to success. The crazy maker is a very dangerous person. That is the one that hangs on. What shall I do with this? What shall I do with that? You told me to do that. It's your fault. Those three words will always come out. It's your fault. It's never, ever their fault. If they lose their money gambling, then it was somebody else's fault who gave them the horse. If they're drunkards and they lose their money drinking, then it was the people they were with. They led them on. These people, the crazy makers, are immature. They've never yet grown up. They still believe they're protected by their mums and their dads. And until such time comes as they rid themselves of that self-doubt, make their own decisions for their own reasons, and leave you to get on with your life, they're to be avoided. You know, the Queen Mary could not sail the ocean. It could not get to America if we left the anchors hanging down the sides. Somebody has to pull those anchors up. And if those anchors are people in your life, it may well be the case that you will need to pull them up. And so, we've agreed that you're to alter your whole approach to your life. Have faith in yourself. Believe in you. Never lose that. It's most important. Trust yourself. And trust your subconscious. It's brought you this far. Can't be all bad. Work at your goal. Work at it. Don't always expect everything to fall in place of its own accord. If work is required, do the work. But always, always keep going. Remember, as I said, it's always too early to quit. So easy to pack in. How many times have we started something only to leave it? Oh, of course there were reasons, weren't there? Think of all those reasons now. There was, I never had O-levels. Well, I didn't have the money. I couldn't get there. The partner was no good. They're not reasons, are they? They're excuses. We know that now. They were self-doubt. And rather than continue on, rather than face a small setback, we let the whole thing go. We gave in. And that way we avoided what we feel is failure. It's that old enemy again, self-doubt. Give you a small story again. True story. A man was born in the hills in Kentucky. That's a very hard area. He was born of a very large family. They were very poor. The father worked down the mines and the mother, well, she did washing and anything she could. He had a dream, this young man, that at one time he would own his own cafe. And as the years rolled by, he worked, he saved. As I say, there wasn't much money in that area at all. But eventually, lo and behold, he achieved his ambition. He owned a small cafe by a main road. And then disaster struck. The road was rerouted. The area was left. His cafe had no customers, had no business, and went bankrupt. He was then 65 years of age. He was a retired pensioner. And the prospects that confronted him were many years, the remainder of his life, taking $100 a month, state pension. Not much to go on, is it? So what did he do? What do millions of people do when they retire? They say, that's it. That's the way it goes. Not this man. This man still believed in himself, still trusted himself, was prepared to work at it. But what did he have? No money. All he had was an old cookbook that his mother had compiled, and he'd used in the cafe. In that cookbook was a recipe for cooking chicken. And he had a dream. If only he could sell the recipe on a franchise basis, on a license basis, to other restaurants. Perhaps this could be salvation. And he worked at it. And he pushed that recipe to these people. He formed these franchises. And within 15 years, Colonel Saunders, as was his name, who owned the Kentucky Fried Chicken, became the biggest fast takeaway food in America. In fact, I believe throughout the world. There was a man of 65, retired with nothing, who made a miracle. Who are we to say that miracles can't happen? When I think back to Walt Disney and to the man, Colonel Saunders, who brought us Kentucky Fried Chicken, a leaf in a cookbook that made billions of pounds. It's never, ever too late, but it's always too early to give in. I've met dozens more than dozens, hundreds of people during the course of my journeys who, in my opinion, had enormous talent, great gifts. And the strange thing is, the only person that argued against me when I said they had great gifts was them. And a simple remedy to prove to them that they were a lot better, for want of a stronger word, than they thought they were. I used to ask them to perform a simple exercise, and that was take a sheet of paper and draw a line straight down the middle. On the left-hand side, put down all the bad things about themselves or about their ideas or about anything. And on the right-hand side of the line, write down all the good things about themselves or the idea. The incredible thing was that the good things always appeared to outweigh the bad things. And that is very true of life. We only see the bad if it's the bad we're looking for. We tend to ignore all of the good. We're conditioned to this by the media. Can you imagine if there was a news at 10 that reported nothing but good news? No fires, no disasters, no bank robberies, no deaths. Just 27 people were cured of a certain disease today. 40 people managed to pass their university degrees. For some quirk in the human makeup, we would probably call it boring. Good news is no news through the media. And we seem to have adopted that attitude in our lives, so that we never look for the good, because we never believe it to be dramatic enough. We only look for the bad. And yes, the bad is dramatic, in a very small way, in a very short term. But anything that was ever worthwhile, anything really great, really strong, really big, has always been something good. Always. So bear that in mind, that before you decide possibly, or you watch others doing things that are dramatic but not good, don't respect it. Respect evil not at all. Any fool can commit evil. It's the same way that any fool can gamble his money away. You don't have to be clever. You can be a complete nincompoop and gamble away all of your money. You can be an animal and get drunk. Anybody, anything on this earth is capable of getting paralytic drunk each and every night. Therefore, there's no great skill attached to that. Anybody can take drugs. There's nothing skillful or clever in any of these things. I'm not necessarily saying that they're wrong. If they give people pleasure, so be it. But where it does go wrong is when those people say that they're clever to do this. The most brilliant things in this world are those things which are true, which are honest, and which are good. And however much you may be tempted to depart from that line, when you do depart, if you depart, you are departing from the path to success. Because no success was ever built on somebody else's misfortune. No success can ever be true if it involves the destruction of somebody else's dreams. And think those words carefully at all times. And if ever you feel the first pangs of self-doubt creeping in, take that piece of paper, draw the line down the middle, and on one side put all the good things and on the other all the bad things. You'll find that in nearly all cases, the good will win, because it's right. Years ago, I was given a saying which I've held all this time. It's a true saying. It's a good saying. It's a wonderful motto. And that is, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And that's not to say muscle tough get going. It's mental tough. It's those that know they're right, as you know you're right now. Now you've fixed your goal. Now you believe in yourself, or you will believe in yourself. There are no self-doubt. Any problem that comes to you will merely spur in you the desire to get tough. You'll deal with this. You'll move on to this. It's a shame that in a program such as this, we're not able to talk for hours and hours. But then, that in itself is a good thing. I have got no real wish to nag you into being or doing anything other than that which you wish to be. Far better that you take this program and analyze it yourself. In that way, you'll come to accept much more of what I've said when you interpret it in your own way. Can't break the rules. Never ever doubt you. I said to you earlier that I would keep repeating that phrase. And I would respectfully say to you, repeat that phrase throughout the remainder of your life. Say this to yourself. Each and every day, I am getting better and better. You know, we are what we think we are. If we think we're failures, we become failures. The subconscious won't argue with us. It will accept that which we keep throwing into it. And it will say we are a failure. Why? Because we keep telling it we're failures. So let's reverse that process. Each day, and in every way, I am getting better and better. That old subconscious, he's pretty forgiving. He'll come round. And once he comes round, our actions will follow. We will be that which we believe ourselves to be. Remember your best friend. It's yourself. No self-doubt. Always believe in yourself. Play this tape over and over and over again. And the strange thing is this, and mark these words well. As you alter the mental image of yourself, as you become stronger, as you take on more positive thoughts, so this tape will appear quite different to the way it does today. Test that. Write that down, that it will appear different, and it will. Allow all of the little rules to sink in. They're not difficult rules. They're not bad rules. In fact, they're rules that probably you'd like to have anyway. So play this tape again and again and again. You will become successful. You will achieve miracles. And one day, I hope to see your name up amongst the miracle makers. Nothing is greater in this world than achieving something for somebody else. And if you ask me what my particular success is, my success is assisting other people to become successful. My miracle, my dream, is helping others achieve their miracle. Help me achieve my miracle by achieving yours.
Just one exposure to new materials, whether you listen or read, is unlikely to bring you many benefits. But through the power of spaced repetition, you can listen to this tape many times and increase your understanding and retention with each repetition. Every time you listen, you will increase what you remember. The more you remember, the more you will actually use. We recommend that you listen to this cassette tape at least once a day for a week, and then as often as you can to get the most benefit from the ideas and information it contains.